And then people are going to be like, I quit my job because of Flare. And people are going to be like, I want to quit my job. And they're going to go all in Flare, and it could get out of control. And that's what I see happening. It's going to be a fun ride. And, obviously there's going to be some point in time where it crashes extremely hard because a lot of these coins were all
Minus Wells, articulating something that I see brewing in Flare for the next bull run. I think you have to be prepared for it because A, you want to take advantage of it and you don't want to get caught in that trap. So we're going to break that down. Before we do, though, there's two important things I want to cover here. Number one, I see people dunking on me on Twitter about Flare. And look, I know it's abnormal for someone not just to blindly shill how great something is. If I see a problem with a cryptocurrency ecosystem, even if I've invested in that crypto and I want it to do well, I'm going to point that out. And at the time, Hugo and team, they admitted that there were some shortcomings to the launch. They addressed it and we all moved on. Further, I stated usually the launch is not a great time to buy. It's similar to an IPO, maximum hype, maximum FOMO, and the most incentive for people to kind of dump on you. And that did play out. I talked about acquiring FLR at around 1 cent. But the reason for this video isn't the price action today. Whether it's 1 cent, 3 cent, more or less, it's not relevant. We're looking, once this bull run gets running, what is going to drive what I think are going to be some biblical and historical gains. Just massive. First, you got to start out with the stuff you'll hear about on most channels, which there's a lot of substance here. This is a layer 1 smart contract blockchain that's geared towards data. So it's right in the wheelhouse of where we should see a lot of adoption and growth. And you're going to be able to build a lot of very important tools with this blockchain. That's where you want to be. Furthermore, I love blockchains that are accelerating into a bull run. We're going to have F assets, layer cake, all sorts of, D apps launching, decentralized exchanges. People are going to be using this system, driving adoption. That's what you want as you're leading into a bull run. Flare is going to be tapping into other, blockchains, helping them, but also building value on Flare, this symbiotic relationship. Anyway, there's a lot of great channels for that kind of stuff. They'll break down all the minutia, those great informational Flare channels like Mickey B. Fresh and Flare Community and so on. There's quite a bit of really smart people doing that kind of content. What I want to talk about here today, what Minus Wells was referencing in that opening clip, a lot of people, they're not going to want to say it out loud, right? And this has nothing to do with Flare, and it's very real value it's building, right? This is more of an investor kind of mentality that will emerge during the bull run and create this situation. Again, it takes nothing away from Flare. If you remember back, I'll take you back to the last bull run. What was the rage? What was every influencer saying? I have strong nodes, I have fire nodes, I have hex. And I've, loaded everything up in here and I'm making so much income from this investment. I'm retired, I never have to work again. And as Minus Well said, other people are going to look at this and go, oh, I don't want to work anymore either. And they're going to start piling it. And of course, that type of growth in FOMO is not sustainable. Look at the mechanics here. Someone buys an FLR token. Delegate their vote, they get those rewards. They're getting the rest of the airdrop associated with that token. You're compounding these things, so it's going to get equally silly. As the price of the FLR token starts to go parabolic up, in value, this is huge. Furthermore, we're going to have areas where you can stake your token in AMM pools. You're going to be earning yield there. All sorts of opportunities on the Flare network, and when you add it all up, with a token price that's going up like a rocket, this is a strong node on steroids. And all the, crypto analysts, they're going to look at Flare and go, this is different because, it's got real value. It's doing a real service and they're right. But that mechanism that's going to really take us to insane heights, that's not sustainable. That's a different story. That's someone saying, you know what? I'm going to be reckless. I'm going to load everything up in this, investment because I think I'm going to get this type of monthly rewards for life, and that ain't going to happen. Now, if we see things grow in a sustainable way, if we're just seeing nice solid growth that kind of matches the utility of the blockchain, that's different. I'm not talking about that. That is sustainable and that'll be fine. But I think things are going to get silly because of this during the next bull run. And be aware of it because A, you want to take advantage of it when it does happen. So you go along for that ride. But when you notice getting really stupid and you see those influencer posts, I just quit my job, I make $100,000 a month, I make $200,000 a week, or whatever. We see these silly posts. I never have to work again. And then you see everyone else go, man, you're right. I'm selling everything and dumping in here. You know what's materializing and get the heck out. There's one little difference here. Of course, with those Ponzi node setups, when you locked your coins up in a node, they were gone forever. You're essentially burning them. And I'm doing air quotations here when I use the term node because this isn't really a node. It's just a Ponzi scheme. And so with Flare, we don't have that. You're not locking your tokens. Granted, that is a difference. But at the same time, unlike those other blockchains, there's actual substance with Flare, where a lot of crypto analysts will look at this and go, no, this is the real deal. This ain't like those things of the past. And that's true. And Flare will probably be around for a really long time. But that doesn't mean if values get totally out of hand, it's not a good idea to pull some money off the table. Flee to safety. I'm not saying you have to sell everything. You can make that decision at that time. But if you thought about this ahead of time and you're seeing things just get totally out of control and totally silly, and you're seeing these kind of posts like, I'm retired, I get to live off my Flare forever, maybe you'll be prepared for this type of situation. Remember, if this happens and we see this materializing, people are going to retort about, the value of Flare and the very real metrics, and that's true, but this isn't a discussion about that. This is a discussion about investors and their outrageous FOMO, and I really see this materializing. Let me know what you think down below, and as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.